What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Super Gamer Boys. I'm your host, Colonel and Dad, Garrett Morlang, and here in the virtual studio with me is the king of video games and still resident superstar, Adrian Holmes. What's up, Adrian?
What's going on, Garrett? We have to be really serious here for a few minutes. Real professional.
Yeah. So we actually have our very first press release coming straight from Super Gamer Boys headquarters here. So I will be reading that now. For immediate release, Super Gamer Boys announces JJ Purdum's temporary departure as host. San Diego, California. Super Gamer Boys, the popular podcast for video game enthusiasts, announced today that JJ Purdum will no longer be a host on the show for the time being. The decision was made after careful consideration and discussions with all parties involved. While the reasons for Purdum's departure are confidential, some rumors suggest that it might have been related to an energy drink called Dubby. Dubby is known for its extreme caffeine content and has been linked to several unusual incidents in the gaming community. Although no direct...
No, don't break character. Keep going.
Although no direct evidence has been found. We want to thank JJ for his contributions to the show over the years and wish him all the best in his future endeavors, said Garrett Morlang, one of the remaining hosts of the Super Gamer Boys. We also want to reassure our listeners that the show will go on and will continue to bring them the latest news and reviews from the gaming world. Morlang added that the show might look for a new co-host in the future, but didn't give any specifics. We're always open to new ideas and collaborations, but right now, we're focused on delivering the best content we can to our audience. Super Gamer Boys has been on the air since 2018 and has gained a loyal following thanks to its in-depth discussions and humor. The show covers a wide range of topics from classic games to the latest releases and features interviews with prominent figures in the gaming industry. Listeners can tune into the Super Gamer Boys every week on their favorite podcast platforms or visit the show's website for more information. And as contact Super Gamer Boys as our email and our website, www.supergamerboys.com. So yes, as of effective immediately, JJ is sitting
JJ's
out.
ghost has joined Zetch's up in the rafters of Super Gamer Enterprises.
Yes, they are both haunting the attic now.
Yep. You may see an apparition in a movie review about a movie from 1983.
Or the 70s. Last one was.
Or the 70s, yes, because those are the only decades that movies have existed.
Yeah, so that was shocking news to hear from Super Game Boys HQ. But
of course,
the people demanded an answer. Why haven't we seen JJ? And so here's the official statement from Super Gamer Boys. It took them a long time. It's been a few weeks. JJ's been absent and kind of in and out. So I'm surprised it took them this long to finally get an official statement together. I kind of wish, they were a little more on top of things over there, but I guess better late than never,
Our press corps has a lot going on, so it was hard to pin them and JJ down at the same time to start the transition. But thank goodness, we finally got here, and yeah. So JJ,
rest in peace.
Resting
JJ.
up. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Tell Zetch we said hi. We have to think of what would be JJ's incantation. You know how for Zetch we say Schmaff Life Schmalix. So what would be the thing to conjure JJ?
I think it has to be what's something that rhymes with
Biddle Bitemares?
Whittle Light Years, something like that maybe, or that one cowboy game you really liked.
Oh, yeah.
That was those two games. They got a lot of mileage over the years.
Dread Rememption.
I love it. So good. So yeah, JJ's dead, and now we can finally move on with the show and start making good things for you guys, right? Party! Woo! No, just pull out the poppers, confetti.
Start the conga line.
Da, 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 da.
No, he's getting some well-deserved R&R. He's just spread too thin. And yeah, always prioritize your health. That's what we were telling him. So
yes, yeah, he just need a little bit of a break, and we're like, hey, you know what? This is just a dumb video game show about video games.
At the end of the day,
about things that really don't matter. Honestly, you know, it's just for fun. So if the thing that's for fun is causing too much stress, then it's not fun. You shouldn't do it.
When it's not fun anymore, stop doing it.
So he may or may not be back, but you know, for now, his name is scratched off of the show notes.
He's gonna get used to not having to do anything, and
he's gonna be like,
"This is
good
it
with this." I'm gonna
exactly.
I know. I thought it was funny later because I'm like, why didn't I just delete his name? Instead, I put like the strike through, so it's still there, but it's just very obvious. Like he is not here. It's like, oh man. All right. Well, today we're gonna be talking about Redfall's Pitfalls.
Redfall.
Some juicy Sega leaks and Nintendo Live coming to America. But first, let's give a quick shout out to our Patreon producers, Bumble Smash, Eddie Martin, and Kajoma01, and our Super Gamer sponsors, Julie Bates and Mama Mare. If you want to be awesome just like those folks, head over to patreon.com/supergamerboys, where you can support us starting at just $1 a month, get episodes early and ad-free, such as this show, as well as Super Gamer Book Club. Which, okay, so I didn't mention at the top of the show, that press release was not written by me. That was written by ChatGPT. ChatGPT.
You're giving away our game.
No, I just want to.
People thinking we had a nice press department and everything, and
I mean, we already gave away that JJ's not actually fired too. But what I just wanted to say is, like, I don't think we have enough time on this episode, but at some point I want to talk about some of the things that ChatGPT said about Super Gamer Boys, because I don't know where they're getting this information from. I hope what I hope is that it's just like almost like it's like a fortune teller, like it's telling us what's to come, because some of the things were very, very kind that ChatGPT said.
I will take it.
Okay. And some of the other things they said is that Super Gamer Book Club is actually a show about books based on video games. not just
of which there are probably not very many.
Did you know that Death Stranding has a novelization?
Really?
We could read,
but that's not a book about video games. That's just a novelization of the game. A book about video games would be something like Ready Player One.
Well, I guess the way I took the ChatGPT is that it's like, you know, books based off of video games. Like that's how I.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
So maybe that's what, when we, if we start up a, ever trying to tweak Super Gamer Book Club, maybe that's what we can read actual books and just read like the Metal Gear Solid books and read through Death Stranding and read through I think God of War has some. I'm pretty sure. I think there's
most big games now have novelizations.
There's like more games than you'd think have a novelization, which is kind of funny. But anyways, you can get that early and ad free. Right now, the episode that's up is Grand Theft Auto Vice City. And the free episode, if you're on the fence about supporting us and wondering, hey, should I support these guys? What is this show all about? You can get over on our YouTube at youtube.com/supergamerboys and on podcast apps at search for Super Gamer Book Club. You can listen to Chrono Trigger with Eddie and Chizo. That was a really fun episode having those boys on there. I was the only newbie. Everyone else had played the game a million times, and I was like, this is my first time. This game's old.
What's a Chrono Trigger?
What's a Chrono Trigger? Why'd they spell that guy's name wrong? That's the biggest mystery to me. The game's called Chrono Trigger, and they spell it CHRONO, and then they introduce the main character as like, his name's Chrono, but it's just spelled CRONO. I'm like, why not name the game? Like, why have
he's
a guy
not the Chrono Trigger?
I know, but
his name just happens to be. It's just a funny coincidence.
Give him another name then. Give him another name. I don't know. Anyways, upcoming this month, at the end of this month, you can listen to us talk about Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney.
Yeah.
At this point, I don't think we're gonna have any guests. We asked a couple people.
That's fine.
We asked I don't even know if I feel doing Adrian. I reached out to someone and they were just a little too busy this month. So I was like, darn. But that's fine, because you know what? You're getting the dynamic duo. You're getting Garrett and Cheese.
And that'll be a joke we'll explain another time.
Another time. We'll talk more about our Patreon later on the show, but right now
I was going to say, we'll talk about cheese another time.
We'll talk about cheese another time. Right now, I do want to give a shout out to Jack Sriracha and Yate for allowing us to use their music on our show. We very much appreciate them and allowing us to use their incredible tunes. So go check them out. Listen to them on Spotify and Apple Music. There's links to both down in the show description below. All right, it's now time for the mailbag. And you know what? Since I already revealed our secrets here that everything that we do is just created in ChatGPT, AI just does everything for us. I'm going to ask ChatGPT what our mailbag questions are for this week. And let's see if it can bring them up for me real quick. So let's
Now, if it does it this time, we're just going to rely on it to continue to do that.
Okay, so what are the listener questions for Super Gamer Boys, episode 195? Enter. Okay. Okay, it has two questions. One from Sweats.
Okay.
This, as you know what, this sounds a lot like the actual Sweats. So the AI is getting very powerful. They're writing in the same tone as these people that we meet on the internet. It's crazy. How does it know? This first question comes from Sweats, and they ask, I never even realized how crazy it is that I play so many games at once. FYI, this is in reference to an episode 2 episodes ago, but 3 weeks ago, because we missed our episode last week. So might seem like a little random, but he carries on. It'll make more sense. He just beat Kingdom Hearts 3. He's like, I actually really enjoyed the ending, but the game in total...
Thank you!
But he said the game in total was ass.
Whoa! Hold on, brother. Hold on.
Oh, no. About 50% through Final Fantasy 15 and 20% through Final Fantasy 10. So he's a wild man playing all these games at once.
He's playing about 250 hours worth of games at the same time and has to keep all 3 of these plot lines straight. So I wonder why you were so down on Kingdom Hearts. Maybe because you were playing 2 other massive games. Why don't you just throw Dragon Quest in there too, huh? Why don't you just go ahead and play Dragon Quest at the same time?
Oh, no.
Huh?
That's awesome. And then I think this is in reference to, again, the last time he said that he enjoyed shooting people in Call of Duty. And JJ said it's because his mom didn't hug him enough.
I forgot about that.
He says, JJ, my mom hugged me a lot, but it was always a side hug. Please interpret. Anyways, here's this question here. What are your favorite magical powers to have in a video game? Necromancy is mine. Ever since Diablo 2, I've loved to make other people do my work for me.
That's a toughie.
So maybe this is cheating. Because it's not, I mean, it is magic, but it's not magic. I'm going to say any game that allows you to use the Force, any Star Wars game. I love being like Force push, Force pull, like not just like be a Force user. So Jedi Fallen Order, or even like back in the day with, I don't know why. The first game that popped in my head was like Star Wars Episode 3 when that game came out. I don't know if that, I think that it was the Force powers in that were very minimal, but I always love that. So it's space magic. It's not your normal magic, but that is I always love that, being able to like move things around with the Force or like push enemies back or whatever. It's always fun. Oh no, that's the other game I was thinking of, because I was like, there's a game I was thinking of earlier today that actually had more Force powers. Jedi Force Unleashed. Like that game was so fantastic because it had both Jedi,
so good,
Jedi and Sith powers. You can go either way, and it was so good. So that game, freaking amazing.
I would love for those characters to somehow be able to work their way into the Jedi series as like the antagonists. Dude, that would be so awesome.
That'd be so good. I mean, so wasn't there a reference to it in one of the spoilers, I guess, for Andor? I feel like I remember.
So Starkiller?
Yeah. There was a reference to like his armor was in like the shopkeeper dude, like in his like antiquities and stuff. There was armor that was very, very similar to Starkiller. And like I remember like New Rockstars and all these YouTube channels being like, oh my gosh, are they gonna bring like Starkiller into Andor?
It's like,
or
no,
whatever?
I think it's just a nod. I think it's just a nod.
But I mean, it now that it's there, like yeah, they could totally bring it in like to either video, because they've also kind of alluded to that, you know, Cal Kestis in the video game is connected. It is official Star Wars canon, so like
yeah,
he could show up at any time in the movies too. So it's like, oh man,
and this is, if I'm not mistaken, when Jedi Survivor is between original trilogy and prequels, right?
Yes.
Or no,
it's before original trilogy. So
that's right, because
Order
66. So it's prequel time.
It's it's like it's like 10, 15 years after episode 3.
You may be able to get away with that. Because I'm trying to think because Darth Vader would have had to be established enough to start that clone program.
Right.
And you would have also been able to be able to let Starkiller grow up enough to be at the age he would be.
I mean, I think Fallen Order, I forget how long Fallen Order is, but the new one is supposed to be like 15 or 20 years after it, right? So I mean,
so Vader would have had to start it immediately.
I think episode 6. So technically the time between episode 3 and episode 3 and episode 4 is only about like 30 years, right? 30 or 40 years.
Right.
No, probably like 30, because Luke's supposed to be young. So it's only like barely 30 years between episode 3 and episode 4.
It would be a long time, because it's all coming back to me now. In Force Unleashed, Vader kind of left you as a side project because I think he was still looking for Luke at that time. So that was original trilogy era. That's why he was never around.
So it takes place after episode 4. Is that what you're saying? Kind of like in the middle of 4, 5, and 6?
Yeah, because he was looking for Luke.
Okay.
That was the big reason why he wasn't around a whole lot. That's why he came back to check on you from time to time. So yeah, that would be a good deal. So Cal would have to be an old man at that point.
No, I mean, it's only like
how long? What's the time? What's the span of time?
I think Cal's only supposed to be like in his 20s, and if it's like 20 years later, he's like in his 40s.
40s,
middle-aged man.
I mean, if they want to do a time skip for the third, we're in the weeds. We're in the weeds. Let's
What's your favorite
chop
magic,
our way back.
Adrian?
I really like the stop spell in Final Fantasy. Basically, when you cast it, the enemy freezes in their tracks. It depends on how strong it is. There's levels to it, just like a lot of other Final Fantasy magic. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it'll freeze pretty much anybody in their place and let you wail on them. Let you wail on them.
That's awesome. So having never really played a Final Fantasy before, ever, and then playing Final Fantasy VII Remake, it took me so long to figure out that there was like different levels to the magic. Like I remember the first time I'm like scrolling through the materia or whatever, and it's like I have Kira and then I don't know, or what is it? Fyra, like it's like all these weird words, and I'm like, are these all the same thing? And then finally I looked it up, and that's when I was like, oh, it's like level 1, 2, and 3, but instead of just calling it Fire 1, Fire 2, Fire 3, it's like all these weird like
they play fast and loose with
words. It's like
the structure is the same, but the names can change from depending on where you're at in the
the
universe.
Root word. Yeah, so like the root word kind of like will stay the same. Like it starts with like FIR, or like Blizzard is BLIZ, and then like it's the ending that will change depending on what level it is. Like if it's like level 1, 2, or 3, it's like, all right, you could have just used a number. It would have been a lot easier for us newbies who don't know what's happening. But
it's also in Bravely Default too.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's the same company. That makes sense,
right? I mean, Bravely Default is Final Fantasy adjacent, so.
All right.
Speaking of which, before you go ahead, sorry.
Oh, yes.
Are we gonna play the Pixel remasters? I threw that idea out there.
You threw the idea out there. I mean, are you thinking for like a book club? Is that what you're thinking?
I'm just saying, if we, wanted to switch it to every couple of months instead of every month, that's plenty of time. I'm just throwing the idea out there. And they come out on tomorrow. Is it tomorrow?
I don't know. I've never played any of them, so it would be fun, but also there's just so many new games about to come out. Do I just want to fill all my time with playing old Final Fantasy games?
Yeah, boy. All right. Fine.
I haven't even touched Resident Evil 4 yet. It's been
Why
out.
not?
Because I haven't had time. I'm trying to play Phoenix Wright right now. Ace Attorney.
Trying. You like it.
I love Ace Attorney. It's been great. It's fantastic. But it's just like, yeah, my parents have been in town too. I have not had a lot of time to play any video games. Like the only video games I played so far, and I'll talk about more in what you're playing, was Phoenix Wright, obviously. And then we played Jackbox games one night, which was fun. I haven't played a Jackbox party game in a long time. But
what's the last one they were on? 6 for that?
What's that?
I said Jackbox 6 was the last one that they did that, right?
No,
that they released.
They come out with them all the time. I think there's like 9 now. Jackbox Party Pack. Because I was looking through Steam and I think they have like up to 9, which is insane. Yeah, 9. I only have up to 6. I don't think I've ever played past 6, but
ooh, $75. Oh, that's the bundle. Okay. Ooh, I might have to piecemeal this one.
For what, Jackbox?
No, for the Final Fantasy.
Oh, the Pixel.
It's 1 through 6, which for $75 is not bad, but that's just a lot of money at this point in time.
That seems like a lot too, just for like.
No, this is hundreds of hours a game that you're gonna get for $75, so that ain't bad at all. I'm just saying for right now, it's a lot of dough.
But just for an old game, in an old game, I feel like it's a lot. Like I feel like they should have kept out at 60. Like,
all right.
Those games are like 30 years old.
Respect your history. All right.
Oh man, I'll think about it. How about that? I'll think about it.
Okay.
This last question comes to us from Sir Prince a lot. Remember, this is from Chat GPT, not actually from Sir Prince a lot. Wink. What's your favorite dinosaur? Now that actually sounds like a Chat GPT question. I'm not gonna lie. That sounds like an AI question. What's your favorite dinosaur, Adrian?
Oh, that's a tough one. I've never really sat down and thought about what is my favorite all-time dinosaur. Do you have one?
I was just going to say on the Discord, because that's where you can write in your questions over at supergamerboys.com/Discord. Kajoma, our Patreon producer, chimed in, and his favorite is the Triceratops, which is a pretty cool one. It has the three horns. They like spear people to death with their face. It's kind of wild. I think for me, and this is going to sound like really basic,
T-Rex.
But no, I love the Velociraptors, and not even the Jurassic Park ones. So here's the deal. Apparently, real Velociraptors weren't like big. They're only like they're 6 foot long, but they're only like,
and they had feathers.
They're only like 2 foot tall. Like they're really short. So imagine like the short, long, ferocious lizard like flying at you, just like with crazy teeth and crazy claws.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't want that. I didn't want them at the big size. I don't want them at the little size. I don't want them at all.
Like to me, it almost seems more ferocious the fact that they're only like 2 foot tall, because it's like, when it's a big thing, it's like, oh, you see it coming. You could almost like wrestle it, maybe. I don't know. But when it's like 2 foot tall, it's like that thing like dashes into a bush and just disappears, and you could lose it so fast because it's just
man said wrestle a velociraptor.
I could
wrestle to shreds.
I could wrestle a full size velociraptor.
Yeah, how are you gonna grab the claws? They're razor sharp.
These 2 footers, that's what, you can't. They'll tear you apart. Don't even see them coming.
You'll be looking at your entrails before you know it.
Oh, maybe.
I don't think I have a favorite. I've been trying to noodle on it. I don't know. I had to come back to him on that one.
Yeah, mine, I don't know. I mean, and even Velociraptors, like, I don't know. Dinosaurs are just fine to me. Like, some people are like, oh, I love dinosaurs. Like, Kajoma loves dinosaurs. That's his whole brand. You go to his stream, and that's his logo over on Twitch. So, like, Kajoma loves dinosaurs. For me, I'm like, I could care less about dinosaurs. Or I couldn't care less about dinosaurs. Like, it's just kind of like, whatever. Like, they happened. They were a thing. Like, I don't know. I just, like, dinosaur movies, like Jurassic Park, like the original, fantastic. And Jurassic World, the first one was like a fun movie, but like
it was pretty good. The rest of them were.
But Jurassic Park 2 and 3, and then Jurassic World 2 and 3 are just like woof. Like, what is happening?
Especially Jurassic World 3. My God, that was.
So yeah, for me, dinosaurs have always kind of been like they're cool, I guess, but they're whatever. So Velociraptors though, just because I don't think I could fight one of those.
You don't think? I thought you just said you could.
I said I could fight. I think I could fight a big one, but not a real one. The real ones are only like 2 foot tall.
Garrett, the big Velociraptors are like,
they're slower though.
100 and something pounds.
Yeah.
So that's like a large, ferocious. I don't even know how to explain it. Like a.
I just feel like because it's bigger,
bird.
Because it's bigger, it'd be more manageable because I could see it coming, as a little more weight to throw around. Where again, when it's the real one that science, was proven actually existed, it's like 2 foot tall. Man, when they're that small, like you can't even get your hands around the thing. But like a big one, like you can at least see it coming. And it's a little more like, a
big one will tackle you before you can see it coming.
But I at least I see it coming.
I don't want to see my death coming. Just do it.
Just do it. End me. Just end me. Oh man. All right. Well, I guess that's okay. Wait, did you give an answer? Or no, you said you need to.
No, I said
okay.
I can't think of one.
All right, that's fine. We can ask ChatGPT what your answer would be. What would Adrian's answer on Super Gamer Boys be to this question? All right. That's it for the mailbag this week. Now it's time for the nerdy nudes.
It's now time for the nerdy nudes. Do we have to revamp that? Or you think we should just keep it going?
I mean,
because that was a Purdom joint. Maybe we'll do it like in memoriam. Just keep it going.
Memoriam. Yes. Or we can just. We need to like cut out an old one of him doing it and just play it.
That's actually not a bad idea. Or maybe we'll make him record one last good one. And
in post, when in video editing, what I can do is later add in like a ghost of him in the corner. Kind of like cut out a video of his face doing it, and then just like he kind of fades in for a second in the middle of the screen. News, and then he fades out and disappears.
You're onto something.
I'm onto something here, I think. All right. This first news story comes to us from Darren Bonthus over at GameSpot. They write, Redfall will not have 60 FPS mode at launch on Xbox. Performance mode will be added in a later update to the co-op vampire hunting game. Redfall developer Arcane Austin has confirmed that its upcoming vampire hunting adventure will launch with quality mode only on Xbox Series X and S, with a performance mode option arriving later in an update. This means that the game will be hard locked to 30 FPS as a high resolution is prioritized, which on Xbox Series X will be 4K and on Xbox Series S is 1440p. While many modern console games usually feature the option to toggle between quality or performance games when they launch, Redfall is one of the exceptions to this rule. Last year, Gotham Knights also launched with only a quality mode option on PS5 and Xbox Series X and S, and in 2023, its frame rate is still capped at 30 FPS on console. Deathloop, which was developed by Arcane Line, did launch with quality and performance modes on PS5, and it retained those options for its Xbox Series X and S launch a year later. For fast-paced shooters, performance mode is generally favored, but the sheer scope of the sandbox that Redfall takes place in could be one of the reasons why resolution is being favored over frame rate. In the previous interview, creative director Harvey Smith also mentioned that the game was developed under challenging COVID-19 pandemic challenges and frequent power Frequent power outages. Where do they live?
Okay, dude.
Wait. Where's the
studio
at?
eventually people are gonna have to like hang the COVID excuse up.
Yeah, COVID was 3 years ago now. Come on.
Well, look, it's still here. Don't get me wrong. It's just severely not as like prominent, I would say.
What I mean is like it's 3 years later. We should have things figured out on how to work in these conditions now. You know.
Right.
Also, Arcane Lion is based in Lyon, France. Why is there frequent power outages in France? What kind of third world country are they living in over there?
They've been having the riots and whatnot lately.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard about that? This? No.
The government like tried to raise the retirement age, and that was the thing that like sent people over the edge, and it's been chaos over there ever since.
Jeez. I don't know how I missed that. Usually I try to keep up.
Well, there's a reason
world
you
news,
missed that. They don't broadcast that over here because they don't want us getting ideas.
Yeah. Jeez. Okay. All right. Well, I was like, what do they talk? Like, there's this article. They're like, oh yeah, between COVID and the power outages. I'm like, what are you talking about?
But however, that only started happening in the last maybe month and a half, 2 months. So they're just looking for anything that. The power outages. COVID. Yeah.
My dog died 6 years ago. I'm emotionally scarred. With launch day fast approaching, more details on Redfall have begun to emerge. Arcane has confirmed that the co-op vampire shooter will launch with the anti-piracy tool Denuvo on PC, and right now, you can enter a sweepstakes to win a custom Redfall Xbox Series X console. Oh, gee, thanks, GameSpot. I think that's pretty much it on the article here. So, here's the deal. I've seen a lot of discourse online talking about, well, initially it was like, this game needs to get delayed. Like, if they can't put out a finished product, it should be delayed. And at first I'm like, over a 6, like, is that, it's wild that it doesn't have the performance mode to me, but it doesn't seem delay worthy for me. But then some of the other arguments I started seeing online, without reading all these articles for you guys, are going to give you the rundown of the TLDR. A lot of people are also concerned about the release window for this game being, what did I say? I don't even think this article said. Just kept saying soon. Sometime in May. It's coming out in May at some time. For some reason, this article does not mention when. But it's right around, literally, like within days of Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom and Jedi, this new Star Wars Jedi Survivor game. And I think there's one other one. There's like three or four games all coming out around the same time. And people are like those other ones are known quantities. People love Star Wars. People love, like, these are both games that people are ravenously been waiting for. Redfall is a new IP, a new franchise. And now with the bad news we've been hearing as far as like what features might be at launch, is that a reason for them to delay this game? And so, Adrian, that's what I'm going to ask you. Do you think that is delay worthy, or yes, no, maybe a little bit, kind of? What do you think?
So, in the sense that if we're looking at it in the lens of other stuff is coming out around that time, I don't think so, because I don't think that the audience for Redfall overlaps very much with something like a Zelda or a Jedi Survivor. I mean, you may have, of course, you're going to have some, people that play everything, but I don't think they would have had any trouble getting some kind of momentum going. I don't know. I don't think it's that. I don't think that's the reason that I think it's a convenient reason that they would move the date, but I think it's due to the performance issues, which is crazy to me that a Series X, which is touted as the most powerful console in the world, cannot run this game at 60 frames a second.
Yeah, it seems kind of wild to me, because I mean, what that tells me then is that Xbox either, I wonder if in development they focused more on the PC version than the Xbox version. So there, because that's the thing with the article. The article only specifically says it's capped on Xbox. So on PC, if you play on, which I will be playing on PC because I don't have an Xbox, it should be uncapped. But I wonder if that's a limitation of like, oh yeah, well yeah, we just developed this game on PC and for whatever reason it was an afterthought to optimize it for Xbox Series X. But even that doesn't make sense because the Xbox Series X should be on par with like
at least what a 2080, maybe a 3060,
if not higher. Like I'm kind of curious. Maybe I'll Google it here real quick, but I'm curious like what it's on par with. Like
I think normally I would say it's at least like a 3060 at this point. A GTX 3060. But I mean, I know Xbox's their focus now is on Game Pass, right? That's what they want to do. But if that's the case, you can't completely have studios divert their attention from the hardware. The hardware is already out there. You can't take it back. Mm-hmm. And that's also another thing that I wanted to talk about is I've seen people be like, "Oh, it's not the S that's holding it back." But what else could it be?
Yeah.
Right? This game is PC. It's only for PC and the series consoles, right? Yep. So it's not for Xbox One.
Yep. And
these are touted as current gen consoles. So if it runs well on PC, but not on the console, and they have to develop for both of them, you know, you always develop for the lowest common denominator, and that's the Series S.
So, but they've been in the past. What they've done is they've just had different you
would just downscale it,
right? They just have like, oh, for the Series S, it only tops out at this, and the Series like in the past they've developed so each console can play at their maximal potential. Where
right.
With this game, they're like, oh. Yeah, they've done the opposite. Instead of gearing each version to its maximum potential, they're like, we're just going to downscale all of them to its lowest common denominator. And it's like, that doesn't make any sense.
Which is crazy. Yeah, exactly. Because, okay, if that's the case, so you're telling me the Series S can't run this game at 1080-60 is what you're telling me.
Yeah.
Because the Series S should run it at 1080-60, and then the Series X should run it at 1440-60.
Yeah, at the very least.
So that okay, if that's the case, then it's the team.
Yeah,
it's the development cycle. It's they can't for some kind of hardware or some kind of bottleneck somewhere is not letting them optimize it.
Yeah, and that's kind of the side I think I'm coming down on is it's definitely it's the process in which they develop the game, because other games have done it just fine. Not that Xbox has very many games out, mind you, over the last 3 years that the consoles have been out. They don't have much to show for it, but the ones that they have put out have worked to the best of their ability on the Series S, the best of their ability on the Series X, and the best of their ability on PC. This is the first one where they're like, well, actually, it's not going to be, it's right now it's all going to kind of run at one level, and then in a few months we'll be able to give you those. It's like, no, wait a second. Like, what's going on here?
A few months.
I mean, they didn't say a few months. They said at a future date, which
is a few months in development time, at least.
Yeah, I could see it being like 1 or 2 months at the least, if not longer. But I don't know. I just keep having flashbacks to like Cyberpunk, when they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this, and then it's like 6 months later, they're like, all right, here's a new roadmap, and they just had to like start over. I
don't understand how I feel like. Isn't quality mode the more strenuous of the two on the hardware? Like a game putting out 4K, isn't that more difficult than lower quality?
Not necessarily.
Higher frame rate?
I would say they're equal amount of power, just in different ways. One is focused on making the resolution better, and one is focused on making the frame rate better. So it's not that one is working harder or like using more power than the other. That's the other. Yeah, you're right. That is the other weird thing is like they've done the optimization for quality, and it's like they just ran out of time for performance optimization, which is like that.
But how
that
are you?
Should have been. Their priority with this game is that it looks pretty and doesn't necessarily feel good. You know,
which is a grave mistake for a shooter.
Yeah, especially a co-op. I guess okay, it's not a competitive shooter, so maybe that's what they were thinking going into it. Like, it's a shooter, but it's like people. It's
I
not
still
be like
have to be able to react.
Whatever,
right, I still need to be able to react in time, and in 30 frames a second. Granted, I can make it work.
Yeah, I mean, we've been making it work for years on console at 30 FPS, but
right. But I really felt like this was the cutoff to where we should at least have 60 frames a second. That's been
across
the board.
The big selling point of this whole console generation is that the hard drives are faster, the graphics are better, the frame rates are better, like everything is better like than previous. So the fact that we're getting this game and it's like, oh well, this is no better than what the Xbox One X was doing then. Right. The One X could do 4K 30. Like,
the One X could probably run this at 1080 60. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. So it just seems weird for like such a big marketing push and then for them to like put out a game and be like, oh, it's coming, just not yet. It's like, again, that's the other.
Well, they have to get this out the door because they don't really have anything else until Starfield, right? At this point.
That's what's so bizarre to me about Xbox, and we always talk about it. Like it inevitably comes up at some point, but I just don't understand what they're doing over there with all their studios, and they just got like nothing going on. Like we were even talking about it in Discord there for a bit. Where was that?
I said that I've been saying the same thing. I said it in Discord too. I can't, in good conscience, at this point in time, recommend somebody to get an Xbox.
Yeah. Okay. So you're like you had said. My big question is, why is Microsoft pushing these games out the door when they're in such an unfinished state? Sets a bad precedent for game development, as Microsoft Game Studios is concerned. Puts a bad image on themselves. And then, what you just said about not recommending it. Chaz Cheeto came back and said it's weird that they own more studios than Sony and yet put out fewer games in a consistently worse state. And it's true. Like,
right.
They have way more studios, which mean
they should have, with the amount of studios they have, they should have a game coming out
like every 3 months.
Once a month.
At least, yeah. It's crazy. And they have nothing coming out. And when they do come out, like they're not good.
It's bad. It's either bad quality or badly running.
Exactly. Or story wise, like something is janky about it. It's never right. But he did mentioned that because he was talking about, he referred to Arcane Lion specifically. He's like, well, they put out before Redfall, they put out Prey and Deathloop, and I was like, well, Deathloop was a PlayStation 5 exclusive, so since Microsoft has acquired Bethesda and ergo Arcane here, they haven't done anything. Like they haven't put out any games. So
when they were,
it's been years. When did Deathloop come out? That was like
2021.
Was it just 2 years ago? Okay,
I think so. But yeah, that was back when the ink wasn't really dry yet on the Xbox Bethesda thing, or have they been rolling for a minute together now?
I think they it
was 2019.
Was it 2019 or was it like 20? It might have been the end of 2019, and it came into play the beginning of 2020. Is when it like officially like went through,
right?
Or whatever, but
so that was before Xbox got involved.
Yeah. So it's like, it's wild. Like there's not been much going on over at Arcane, and then even since Xbox picked him up, like nothing happening. Nothing in general happened in general. It's just sad. It's really sad. Like there's just so many.
It was 2020 and finalized in 2021.
Okay. So
the Bethesda acquisition.
Pretty recent. Yeah.
But this game should have been in pre-production at that time. Or it should have been in production at that time.
Yeah, it's hard to know. They haven't really released those details, but you would think there'd be, it would have been some sort of like pre-production stuff going on at that point. If for the game to be coming out now.
Right. And we don't know how long the development cycle was on Prey either.
Right.
Prey and Deathloop.
Prey
they could have had multiple years to cook those while Bethesda was doing other stuff, or ZeniMax was doing other stuff with other studios. So maybe this is an accelerated crunch development window for them, which results in a worse product. But again, that goes back to what I was saying, is that doesn't look good for Microsoft, because that means they're promoting that kind of a work environment, which is not cool.
The fact that their previous games have been high quality and now this one's coming out. And again, this one might come out and be an awesome game, but the fact that those features are missing, it's just like, oh, what is going on?
This is standard at this point.
Yeah.
When consoles come out and they tout power, that's when I really scrutinize them on it. I know we talk about, for example, we talk about the Switch being like really old hardware, but Nintendo these days, they don't play on power, right? If you come out and you tell me that this is the most powerful console we've ever made and it's the most powerful console on earth, I'm going to hold you to that.
Yeah. If they didn't say anything, then we wouldn't care.
I would have let it go.
Right, whatever, sure. But now
their whole, you're telling me,
that's what all their marketing hinges on, is like, we're the most powerful console. They're like,
it does 4K 120. Where? One game? Forza?
Sometimes.
You wanted me to pay $500 to experience one game at 4K 120? Okay.
Oh man.
Wild. So when you tout power, that's when I scrutinize.
Yeah.
Because that's what you're selling me on. Because if I don't get what you, exactly, you deserve it. If I don't get what you promised, what are we doing here?
So I did find that the Xbox Series X GPU is the equivalent to RTX 3060.
Yeah, that's what I was figuring.
So it's not necessarily like the most powerful card, but I mean, it
should handle 1440 easy though.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, that 3060, from what I understand, so it's like a step below. I have a 3070, so the 3060, like, can probably play most games at 1440, like on high or ultra settings, kind of thing. So
right,
so but it's not a 1-to-1 comparison, because obviously Xbox custom makes their GPUs and custom makes their CPUs to work way more efficiently than a PC. So technically the Xbox should actually, even though the equivalent is a 36er, it should actually be a little bit better,
right,
if you think about it. So
which makes it even less acceptable then.
Yeah, right. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not a scientist, so if I'm wrong, I'm sure there'll be people in the comments calling me an idiot.
But if the equivalent of that is even if you could say, oh well, maybe it's underclocked because it's trying not to draw as much power as a PC does for a 3060. I guess, okay, but I don't know. There's nothing you can really say when there's 4K on the box. Okay. Yeah.
If you're gonna,
when there's 4K 120 on the box,
or I don't have my PS5 box. Doesn't the PS5 box say 8K on it?
Yes,
it says 8K.
What is going to be 8K?
First
8K
of all,
15 frames a second? Stop it.
First of all, there's no 8K games, and secondly, like, there's no TVs to display.
A 4090 is not doing 8K.
I love
Get
that.
Get out of here.
When it says 8K on the box, like, what are you talking about? What are you smoking over there, Sony?
Maybe the menu. Maybe the menu's going to be in 8K.
Those particles looking real good floating around in the background.
Are there even very many 8K TVs right now?
No, that's
there's probably less than 10.
Like, unless you're looking to spend like $5,000 on a TV, I'm like, no.
With a terrible refresh rate.
Yeah, man.
But no. So I think that.
So should this get delayed though? Like, that's
yes,
yeah,
absolutely. And I don't think it's to get out of the way of the other games. I think it's because they need more time, because this game is not. It needs more time to cook.
To me, the 60 FPS thing isn't a big deal, but I guess what I infer from reading this and getting this news is that there's other things that also might have issues that they're not telling us.
Yeah.
And so
I agree.
So I'm kind of with you. Like, yeah, let's delay it, because if these are the types of things you're leaving out, what else is also getting left out or getting swept under the rug, or like, we'll fix it later as well, that they're not saying? or that they don't know about even. Like maybe there's some funky bugs and stuff. It's like, oh man, like should just
See,
like they you know, if they just delayed the Suicide Squad game for like the 7th time or whatever, the 6th time.
That I'm glad about. That needed to be delayed.
And they pushed it a full year. They're like, next spring.
Push it push it too.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, like if they can delay the game like 7 times, I think Redfall could. Have they done it once already or no?
Yeah.
I don't. Okay. So like, what's one more time? At least it's not.
But
6,
here's the thing, though. If I've said this before. I've said it. You know, I've beat this drum to death, but it's still true. If I'm an Xbox gamer, what am I doing? I'm furious right now. What am I playing right now?
Yeah. What did I spend $500 for? Xbox?
What? Yeah, $300 to $500. What did I spend it for? I could have put that money towards a PC and played everything.
Right.
So
and gotten my 60 FPS out of it.
No problem. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. And I hate saying that too, because I really want to see Xbox succeed. And I know they are, you know, through Game Pass, but I think if they're gonna focus on Game Pass and don't make hardware anymore.
Don't make hardware or yeah, I don't know. What I was going to say is like, because the issue here isn't necessarily because the hardware is capable of it. In this case, the game is not capable of it. The hardware is, the game is not, which is telling me that maybe they need to back off of the software part of it and like focus on Game Pass. And you know what? Maybe you don't make as many games and have as many studios, and maybe, you know,
they can't do that. They just spent $70 billion.
I know. They've kind of gone too far. It's point of no return at this point. But it's like they have all these studios and they're just making trash. Like, why not? Yeah, if you're going to focus on Game Pass, focus on this. Just let Game Pass be a place to curate other people's games,
right?
Make money off of that, you know.
And then just sell the hardware to play them. And then,
like, if you're not willing to make quality games yourself, let other people make them. Because at this point, you're acquiring incredible studios and then like downgrading them. Like all these studios that are known for making killer games are putting out now mediocre games, and it's like, oh, this is sad. Like they were so good before. I don't know.
And how long is this fabled turnaround period supposed to be? Because they've been on the path of, oh, we're gonna right the ship, oh, we're gonna make it, you know, better, ever since the Xbox One came out and they realized that people don't want what they were selling at the time. Yeah. And I feel like the whole Xbox One generation was a recovery period, you know, to try to right the ship. You know, they took away all the always online stuff. They brought out the Series X to kind of really put some power there.
Got rid of the Kinect.
And nothing really major came out of that generation for Xbox, right? That people go, oh man, remember X, Y, and Z game? People don't do that about Xbox One. Really?
Yeah, no.
And now here we are almost 10 years later. We have a whole new set of consoles. We have Game Pass. And I don't hear anybody outside of, at this point, maybe Hi-Fi Rush being like, oh man, you know what? That so-and-so Xbox game is absolutely killer, man. Maybe Forza, but Forza and Hi-Fi Rush, that's 2 games though.
Yeah. No,
everything else is mediocre.
Yeah, it's wild, really.
You need a 10-year recovery period?
Yeah, the ship should be righted by now. Like there's no reason why it shouldn't be. Except for that they just have too many too many things they're trying to like keep track of. Too many, you know, what's the phrase? Like they got too many plates spinning right now. They're trying to spin too many plates, and they're just like, some are falling and breaking. It's like, just put them down. Just focus on what you know, your essentials here. Make yourself a console so that way you can compete with PlayStation. And if you really are gonna stick with Game Pass, focus on Game Pass then, and let some of the studios go, and that way they can continue to make games and put them on Game Pass.
Well, what's crazy is the Bethesda. It seems like it pales in comparison now, but the Bethesda acquisition is actually pretty huge with the amount of studios that they have under their belt.
It was massive.
Yeah, and they didn't even really give that enough time to kind of settle in. Right? It only finalized in 2021, and then we got news in 2022, the next year, that they were doing a deal 10 times as big.
Right. Yeah, they had that's barely enough time to even get like leadership in place and train, like get everything, like let the dust settle. The dust wasn't even settled yet on that, and they're like, all right, bring in Activision Blizzard. It's like, wait a second.
Whoa, hold on. Bethesda hasn't even, they're still moving their stuff in.
There's still U-Hauls out front.
Right.
Man. Yeah.
I don't know who else was anybody in the running to buy Activision at that time?
Not that I've
Because I don't think there's very many people who are willing to spend $70 billion.
No, I can't think of anyone else who could have other than Sony. But I don't think Sony was interested because why?
Yeah.
all those games come to PlayStation anyways. So.
I heard that there was like, this was the perfect time to pounce on Activision because their stock was really low right then because they had the all those allegations and stuff and about the harassment and stuff going on.
Yeah,
so this was the best time to buy them. But if you had already intended to buy them, and you were pretty sure that nobody else has that kind of capital rolling around, just, offhand to willy-nilly throw, you should have just waited. You should have waited until Bethesda was settled and in place.
Yeah.
And then, maybe go after Activision. Because I don't know how you benefit from this.
Yeah. I mean, it's just prolonging. It's not prolonging. It's just extending how long the recovery is going to take. Like they've had these two huge transitions, and it's like they have not had a chance to like really figure out, okay, what does this actually look like? And so what was going to take let's just hypothetically say, it was going to take 2 years for things to settle with Bethesda before they brought in Activision. Well, now they brought in Activision Blizzard. It's not like it adds like another 2 years to that process. Now it's almost like exponentially like, okay, now it could be the next 6 years they're still like trying to work this stuff out, Because now they're not only trying to deal with Bethesda and make sure they're 100% rolling and going, but then they're also in the middle of, Activision Blizzard deal hasn't even gone through yet, but technically, so they're not working with the studios, but there's a lot of energy and time just going towards like the acquisition process because it's been hell for them. It's been horrible. So it's like, man, oh man, like,
not to mention all the red tape with regulators that they're going to have to go through even after the acquisition is done to make sure that they do what they say they're going to do in the the court trials.
Yeah. I don't know. I couldn't imagine being over there right now. It's just probably a madhouse is what it sounds like.
Oh my God.
But what might not be a complete madhouse at this point, maybe it is, I don't know. I guess I've never been over to their studios, but it might be a madhouse seeing as things are leaking. But there's an alleged Sega leak revealing a long-rumored Persona 3 remake and new Jet Set Radio. So maybe it is more of a madhouse than we realize. The fact that all this stuff is leaking out all over the place.
Keep leaking it. Keep leaking it.
It is written by Stephen T. Wright. Persona 3 Portable is finally playable on modern platforms, but it seems that the remake rumors might be true after all. An alleged leak of internal Sega materials from 2021 has leaked online, and it includes footage of what could be a Persona 3 remake, as well as a new Jet Set Radio game. The Persona 3 clip is a scant 5-second long and shows party member Yukari Takiba
Close enough.
Firing arrows into an enemy shadow. The Jet Set Radio clip is also quite short, showing a figure who looks a lot like Beat dancing in a cel-shaded urban environment. Rumors of a Persona 3 remake has swirled for years, with Gamatsu reporting that the project is in development. Though the outlet did not verify the footage that leaked online, one of those rumors also claimed that the remake and Persona 6 would be announced in summer of 2023. So as usual with this sort of leaked footage, we recommend taking its legitimacy with a grain of salt, as it could easily be some sort of hoax. That said, reports have indicated that Sega is looking to release a new Jet Set Radio as part of its Super Game Initiative, along with a possible new entry in the Crazy Taxi series. It is also worth noting that a spiritual successor to Jet Set Radio called Bomb Rush Cyberfunk is currently in development. So yeah, that's these are not necessarily my kind of games, but I know you love both of these franchises.
Dude, I am a massive fan of these for both Persona and the Jet Set or Jet Grind, whatever you want to call it. I am a very, very big Dreamcast fan. So for Sega to be thinking about bringing Dreamcast series back from the grave, I am all about it. I cannot believe at this point that we don't have. I've been waiting for them to announce that they're going to do a Dreamcast Mini. And I tell you,
oh yeah,
there is no price that they could charge that I wouldn't get it. If it has the all-star lineup of the Dreamcast that I'm thinking it would have, oh my God. Oh, there's no price. There's no price. Yeah, that there's been a lot of back and forth about that clip, especially the Persona one, that, oh, this was from an investor meeting, but people are saying, no, that's not true. They've never shown anything like that. Like it's a tech demo, right?
Oh, okay.
But then there are other people saying, no, that's not what I heard. I heard that this is like kind of like a, I guess it's an actual leak. Like it's a game that's in development that was shown off in a meeting or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Same thing for Jet Set. And then apparently, like you said, there's a rumor for Crazy Taxi 2. So if they do both of those at the same time, oh man. Jet Set Radio and Crazy Taxi back again. And imagine if they were like really good too. I was gonna say Sega doesn't usually make stinkers, but then that's clearly not true. Maybe back in the Dreamcast days they didn't, but I don't know. I feel like this would be the best news if it turns out to be real.
Are we gonna get the Adrian Holmes Year of Dreams here?
Oh, could you imagine if E3, if it pops off with Sega, just bam, 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 Persona 3 remake, Jet Set remake, or Jet Set 3, the Crazy Taxi 4, all in the same Summer Game Fest, whatever reveal. Might have to get a pacemaker put in if that happens.
So good.
But it would be, I mean, I was talking a lot about this, the Dreamcast stuff, but it would be really awesome if we got the Persona 3 remake too. I think for a lot of people, I think Persona really exploded when 4 came out and then 5 really capitalized on it. I think it's hard for people to go back, and unless you were there and you played it back then, it's hard for people to go back to 3 and to experience that story, even though a lot of people argue that it's still one of the best of the 3. I can't fight them on that one because it is an excellent story. So for them to bring it up to the same standards as Persona 5, I think is a really good move. And I think they should even look into doing 4. So that way you have all 3 of them in a I think they're doing 3 because it's the one that needs it the most, because it needs those quality of life things. But I think if they do 3 and it sells well, I can see them looking into doing 4. Excuse me, to all have that same aesthetic and modernization. But yeah, man, it's gonna be pretty sweet if all these are to be believed.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, and you know me, if they remake it, I'll give it a shot. Like I probably would have never played Final Fantasy 7 except that they remade it. So if they remake Persona 3, like heck yeah, I'll jump in there. I'll play that.
I mean, 5 is still sitting right there, my guy. Then that's current,
and I own it. I even own the game, so there's no reason why I haven't played it other than I just don't have time to play it.
If only you had a device that would let you play, those kinds of games on the go.
Then I have to buy it again. Is it worth buying again?
Is it worth buying again? Have you seen the review scores on Persona 5, my good man?
No, I've only just heard people talk about how amazing it is. So, hang on, how much is it? Persona 5.
It's probably standard price.
$60.
$60 for 100 hours is a pretty good deal.
It is Steam Deck Verify.
There it is.
Interesting.
Add it to your wish list. Let it sit there.
All right. Yeah. And it already is in my wish list. That's fine. It's already there. Next time it goes on sale, I'll know. All right. This last news story comes to us from Nintendo. That's right. I just pulled well, it's not even a news article. It's just the announcement page from their website, nintendo.com/Nintendo-Live/.
Okay.
Coming in September 2023 to Seattle, Washington, an all-ages celebration of Nintendo fun. Share the excitement of playing games together, enjoying live stage performances, and more across a large-scale themed area. Whether you and your family are new to the games, characters, and worlds of Nintendo or are lifelong fans, everyone's welcome to have fun. Have a blast together with popular Nintendo Switch games. Play familiar favorites at your own pace. Jump into friendly competitions together or try something new to you. Bring your energy and enjoy live stage performances, thrilling competitions, and more. Meet and snap a share-worthy picture with some of your favorite Nintendo characters. Check out sculptures that faithfully bring in-game worlds to the real world and other fun stuff. That's such a weird, little vague sentence.
Stuff?
Yeah, and other fun stuff.
In a professional press release?
It's not a press release. But it is like the official web page for the event. It seems weird to say that. And then cheer on top competitors as they go for the gold in high-level play and tournaments. So that's all the information we have at the moment. But Nintendo Live is coming to America for the first time. I guess it's been an event for the last few years in Japan. Finally coming to America. Are we going to try to go to this? I know we always say we're going to try to go to these things and they get canceled, like E3.
Look.
Are we? If we promise to go to this, it might get canceled. That's our track record.
Okay, so maybe we shouldn't then. Maybe we shouldn't promise.
Maybe we should say we aim to. We are not going to go to Nintendo. I'm not even interested in going to Nintendo Live. Not even in the slightest. Okay?
Now, if you do this and it does get canceled, what does that say?
That they're listening to us and they know and they're on to us. It's like, oh, those fools. They think they could trick us.
We were talking before the episode and we were saying the conundrum here is that PAX West is normally in September, right?
It's normally that first weekend, Labor Day weekend of September usually. So
is Nintendo, now granted, Nintendo is big enough and is well known enough that they could do this the same weekend and get a very good amount of foot traffic.
Yeah.
And attendees, with PAX West going on. So we were saying, are they waiting for, I was thinking about it after you said it. Are they waiting for PAX to announce their dates and then they're going to go? And the only reason I think that they may be doing that is for logistics, right? Because maybe the city has an ordinance that there can only be so many people in the area to try to work with traffic laws or something like that.
Right.
That's the only thing that makes sense in my brain. Otherwise, why not have it the same time as PAX?
Yeah, I think it'd be a great idea to have them at the same time because I don't know what attendance has been like the last couple of years at PAX West, but to kind of honestly, that could help alleviate some of the congestion. Because if PAX West is happening at the Seattle Convention Center and then this is, I don't know,
elsewhere
down the road at the what's the football team there? The
Mariners. The football team, the Seahawks.
Yeah, like Seahawks on their stadium or something like that, just down in the field. I don't know. They just have the field full of a bunch of stuff, or who knows? I don't know. Maybe they have more than one convention center. Obviously, they could go at. But that's my thought. Is just kind of spread it out across the city. That might actually, and not only would the convention center not get so full, because that's always the thing people always talk about is just oh man, yeah, it was so packed, shoulder to shoulder, rubbing through, trying to get through. I was just trying to go through the exhibition hall and I couldn't see any of the exhibits or see any of the shops and stuff like that because it's just a pain. It's like, oh man, like it'd be genius to have them the same weekend, because maybe it would kind of help like split up some of those people. Like, okay, like some people are on, at the convention center, and then the other people are across town at, wherever Nintendo is. And it's close,
Right.
have it close enough to where like, oh, it's just a couple, few dollars to Uber there, but not so close to where it's like, yeah, all localized to downtown Seattle all at the same time too. So I don't know. I think it'd be awesome. And what I'm stoked about is I might be there. I will be there at the end of August / beginning of September. Like we go every year and see. I have some friends up in Seattle, and so I was like, if Nintendo Live isn't happening, I might try to plan our trip so I can at least go to PAX. Like I think that would be so sick. But they haven't even announced PAX dates yet either. I
which
know,
is crazy.
They do the same dates every year, so I'm not worried about that. What I'm worried about is just not getting tickets, because what always happens is tickets go on sale, and I get emails from them like every week, and then like as soon as tickets go on sale, all of a sudden I don't get an email, and then the next thing you know, I go to their website, I'm like, oh, I haven't heard from PAX in a while. Oh, tickets are sold out. All right, that's cool. Like that happens.
Well, that's why you gotta do Twitter. You gotta do PAX West tickets.
Yeah,
and just keep a search going, and then somebody will let you know when they're gonna
turn
go
on
sale.
Those notifications or something like that. But so like one of these events I want to go to. Like honestly,
I'm going
Nintendo,
to one. I just don't know which one.
So PAX would be a lot of fun, like for me. But when I heard about Nintendo Live coming, I'm like, my kids would love to go to that. Like Shaq would lose his mind to just go and like see like big old statues of Mario or whatever, and like mascots running around playing Switch and stuff. Like that would be so fun to go as a family to do that. So I kind of hope it's at the beginning of the month. But
I need to go to the concert. If it's the same one that we got in Japan with the mascots from Splatoon 3.
Oh, right.
They put on they put it up on YouTube from, I think it was last year. The Nintendo Live last year, they did a concert
I remember
there.
Hearing about it. I didn't watch it, but
man, it was crazy. So if we get that same thing here this year, I have to go see that if I'm going.
Heck yeah. Well, yeah, stay tuned for details on that. We'll definitely be talking about it here because we're not interested at all. So
nope.
We probably
couldn't care less.
Will not be going most likely. But we will still tell you the dates, and we'll talk about them here on future episodes for sure. Oh, man. All right. Well, that is it for the nerdy nudes this week. Now it's time for the Patreon ad. All right, this is the part of the show where I tell you to go over to patreon.com/supergamerboys. Support us over there, starting at just $1 a month, where you can get episodes early and ad-free, such as this show and Super Gamer Book Club, which is our monthly show hosted by Adrian, where we play through a game. Sometimes we have a guest on the show. We talk about that game. It could be a new game like Hi-Fi Rush a couple months ago. It could be an old game, classic, Chrono Trigger, like the free game that's the free episode that's up right now. So think about supporting us over there. Get that and this show early and ad-free. $5 a month. You get show notes early, so you know exactly what we're going to talk about here on the podcast. And you can leave your own questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, answers to the listener questions, what you think about the Sega leaks, or should Redfall get delayed. You could have given your input on those show notes, and we would share them here on the air and discuss them alongside you. So think about supporting us with the $5 a month if that sounds fun to you. $10 a month, you can be a Patreon, a Super Gamer sponsor, where you get shout outs each and every show, and a top dog tier Patreon producer, where you can pitch us a segment. And not only are you just the top dog supporter, and we appreciate you a ton, but hey, you could even give us some ideas, give us some thoughts, give us some feedback, maybe a cool little segment idea that we could try to do on the show for a little bit. And we've had a few of those over the years, and it's always a blast. Super Indie Boy started out like a little segment that Adrian did before he was a host. He was a Patreon producer, and a few of our other friends we've had through the years have come up with some really awesome show segments. So think about supporting us there. You can also support us over on Twitch. If you're watching here live right now on Monday night as we record this, or later you're catching us on YouTube and podcast services, head over to twitch.tv/thesupergamerboys, where you can support us by subscribing. So you can either subscribe, cost you $5, and we can send it on over to us, and we get, you can use our emotes and help support the channel that way. But if you have Amazon Prime, think about using your free Prime Gaming sub you get each and every month on our channel. You can link your Amazon account to your Twitch account using Prime Gaming, and that allows you one free sub. Now you have to remember to do it each month. It will expire, so it doesn't renew automatically. So if you think about it, if you've done it in the past for us, and you're like, oh shoot, I haven't done that in a while, head over to twitch.tv/thesupergamerboys, click on subscribe now, click on use free Prime Gaming sub, cost you $0, and we get $5. Helps back the channel a little bit, and again, you get those emotes to use all across Twitch on all your friends' streams. Last but not least, w.gg. You can use our code SGB to get 10% off, and we get a little bit of a kickback on our end. So think about it. If you're looking for an energy drink that doesn't give you the jitters, doesn't give you any crash, sugar-free, gluten-free, and features patented neurofactor to enhance brain function, think about using Dubby. They got some fantastic flavors over there. I say it every week, but Dub Sludge is a good one. Galaxy Grenade's my favorite. They have they're always coming out with new flavors. Like I think I just got an email the other day for.
Did you ever try Push and Punch?
No, so my Galaxy Grain is almost out, and when I run out, my plan is to then buy like a couple new flavors. So I usually buy 2 tubs at a time. So my first 2 batch was Dub Sludge and Galaxy Grenade, and then my next plan is to get what was it called? Push and Punch, and the new one is called Cali-O Cream, and I think it's like a creamsicle flavor. It's kind of a weird name, I'm not gonna lie, but it's like creamsicle. I'm like, all right, I can get down with some like orange creamsicle flavor. But they also have big energy tears, which is like a blue raspberry flavor. They have beach and peach, but that one actually sounded good. I never tried it, but it does sound good.
That sounds copyright infringy. I think Nintendo should be notified about that.
Beach and peach. No,
since they like doing
Hideo Kojima.
All these cease and desist lately.
Hideo Kojima needs to be told about it because he made. Do you remember that? That's like the cringy. I mean, there's a lot of janky stuff, and there's a lot of janky stuff in Death Stranding. But do you remember towards the end where Sam Porter Bridges makes a joke?
Wait, you say spoilers yet?
I don't think this is really a spoiler about it's just cringy. He references, he's talking to Amelie, and he's like, what are you, Princess Peach, and this is your beach? And I'm just, blah, blah. And it's like, oh my gosh. It's like, that's not the exact quote, but I feel like the exact one is worse. Like, it's like so cringy, making like a Mario, like, am I Mario and you're Peach? And, always chasing you around. It's like, oh my gosh, that was like the lamest
Kojima
line.
told him, just freestyle, man. We're going to use whatever you put in.
Yep. So every time I see Beach and Peach, I think of, the beach from Death Stranding, Peach, it works out. All right, this ad's going on too long, so think about supporting us over there at w.gg. Use our code SGB, get 10% off, and get some tasty energy. Right now, they have a starter pack where you get a shaker cup and 2 flavors to try out for $14.49. With 10% off, that drops it to, maybe like $12, 12 something maybe? So around there, something like that. They also have, if you don't want an energy drink, they also have hydration drinks as well. They have Monkey Madness, which is like strawberry banana. I think they have another one where it doesn't have the caffeine. It's just like for hydration. So check those out if you don't do caffeine. All right, that's it for the ad. Now, let's get back to the show. All right, Adrian, this is the part of the show where I ask you, what you playing?
So for the past, maybe 2 weeks, I think now, I have been absolutely hooked on Returnal, and I've finished it, and it is amazing. It is an amazing game. Housemarque does not miss. So for anybody who doesn't know, Housemarque is now a PlayStation studio, and they make really arcadey feeling or really tightly controlled games. And I think this might be the first one that really has a lot of story put into it from them. For that I've played. It's a roguelike shooter, third-person shooter. I know it's kind of weird to visualize, but think about it as your character is running around the map. The map is randomized. Power-ups are randomized. Items are randomized, pretty much. And you're trying to clear the map. And the premise of the game is you are in a space explorer who's crash landed on a planet, and you find your body on this planet already when you get there. And you're trying to figure out the mystery of how you're already there, but you're alive right now, and none of this makes sense to you. So you're exploring the planet to try to get through the root of the problem.
Dang.
And it's just, man, it's firing on all cylinders, dude. It's so good. Gameplay is airtight. I never felt like any mistakes were, oh, that's the game. It was always me. My character control really well. It gets hard though. Good grief, does it get hard sometimes. But there are some times where you're really feeling the pressure and it gets your blood pumping, but it never feels impossible. It always feels like, oh, I made those mistakes. Dang it. Now I got to start over.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just like Resogun. Resogun was like that too, where if you really wanted to, get far in it and do high level play, it's going to get really, really hard.
Yeah.
But when you do clear rooms and you do a good run, it does feel really rewarding. And the actress who plays the main character, Celine, she does a great job as far as her performance and narration. So I really, really dig this game. I hate that it took me so long to play it. I didn't have, of course, a console at the time to play it, but right. I'm making up for lost time, and it's excellent.
That's awesome. It's a game that I looked really cool, and I've heard so many good things about it, but I just always shied away because I just heard how difficult it was. But I've kind of I don't know. I've been on this streak lately where I've been enjoying a lot of these games that are difficult. Imagine that. Like I fell in love with Elden Ring last year, and then, well, I mean, you guys have been hearing about it like this last couple months, playing like through Hollow Knight and just loving Hollow Knight. Like, so I'm realizing like, okay, I may suck at games, but I still can enjoy these games. I may never finish them, because I'm bad, but at least I can still have fun and enjoy them. So I might need to pick it up. And now, is it free on PlayStation or no? Or do you have to pay?
Yeah, if you have the top premium, it's free.
Okay.
Or so I mean, it's included.
Right,
it's not
it's
free.
included,
You're paying for the premium, but you know what I mean. If I said it's free,
yeah, I don't have to pay another $60 for it.
Right. I think that is there. Miles is there. Ghost is there. Ghost of Tsushima. Death Stranding is in there. So there's a good amount of games that are in that tier that make it worth it.
Okay. Nice. All right. Cool. Well, yeah, I need to check it out then at some point because it looks gorgeous. Like, and I need.
Oh,
I don't know. I haven't played my PS5 in a while, and I've been hankering like, okay, I need to find a reason to fire it up. So maybe that's what it is to finally jump into Returnal and check it out. But
yeah. It makes such good use of the 3D audio if you have really good headphones that support it. I think I talked about it the other time too, where I was saying there's instances where you're in first person mode, and I don't know how the heck they do it, but when you're wearing a helmet like she does, right? When you speak, the sound is coming from right here, and it really sounds like.
It sounds like it's coming out of your own mouth, basically.
Yes,
you're
I don't know how they do it, but that's exactly what it sounds like.
That's so
it's
wild.
Crazy.
Dang. Yeah, that 3D audio on the PlayStation is wild. Because what's cool is like, most headphones support it. Like it's like I don't know what kind of like crazy like dark magic they're doing over there, but like yeah, like it's like I mean I have pretty nice headphones in general, but I've even plugged crappy headphones in there. It's like, oh, like it's not as good as the good headphones, but it's still gives a little bit of that illusion of like 3D audio. I'm like, I don't know how they're doing this, but they're figuring it out. It is so cool. Like 3D audio is probably one of the coolest features, most underrated features on the PlayStation, I think. Like you don't hear a lot of people talk about it, but having like stuff like that, or
it makes good use of the haptics too in the controller.
Okay, nice.
The haptics, the adaptive triggers, it pretty much, it's a good showcase title for the hardware.
Which I mean, it was a launch game, I think, right? So it makes sense.
At least close to.
It's either launch or like within the first couple months. So it makes sense that it would have all of the features in it, because it's like, hey, there's a new console, check it all out, you know?
Right? But it actually uses them well, so none of it feels like a gimmick.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's kind of just shoved in there for the sake of using.
Right.
So that's good.
But I've gone on.
Yeah, sorry.
What have you been playing?
I have been playing a little bit more Hollow Knight. I kind of got stuck in an area. I think I made a boo-boo. So I'm in this area and I don't have the right powers to continue on, but I'm also trapped. Like I can't climb out of this one tunnel because there's too many spikes. And so I don't know. I think I might have messed up. I didn't think that was possible. Like most games give you some way out, but I think I might have dropped down to an area and now I'm stuck here because I don't have the ability that I need. So apparently there's an ability. I didn't know it existed until I was watching a friend of ours, Lady Effervescent, which check her out. She's actually streaming right now over on Twitch. She's awesome. She was playing Hollow Knight one time and she had this ability where she like charged it up and then it was like a dash, but it went on forever and it like went horizontal, like to get across like the long chasms and stuff.
Uh-huh.
She used that. I'm like, whoa, that's a cool ability. Like, when do you get that? She's like, oh, I got that like a while ago. And I'm like, really? And we're at like a similar point in the game, but somehow I missed an area or missed a boss or something like that and did not get that ability. And so basically, yeah, I'm at an area where it's like, I need that ability, but I don't have it. So I was like, oh, I'll just backtrack and go back up and find where that ability is. Like somehow I went beyond the game. Well, I'm down in this pit where there's literally like a bunch of like spikes and nails and stuff like that. And I can't get out of that pit because I don't have like a double jump or anything either. So I'm like trapped. So I can't get up out of this pit. I can't.
There's no way to go back to the last save point or last checkpoint.
I sat down on a bench in the area that I'm stuck in. So
there's got to be a way, dude. I don't think they intended for you to be able to get stuck somewhere.
Yeah, I might need to I might need to chat with the Hollow Knight expert, Eddie.
Oh yes,
over on Discord. I'm sure
he'll probably be like, "Oh, you're in room 7B in this area in this biome. Don't worry about it. This is how you do it."
Yeah, 100%. He's gonna know exactly. Like, oh yeah, this is how you do it. You're just an idiot, and if he said that, he'd be correct. But yeah, so that's kind of been put on hold a little bit because I just keep beating my head against the wall. I'm like, I can't figure out how to get out of here. But in its place, and because it's for the book club this month, I've been playing Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a game I'd already started like back when I first got my 3DS, so I kind of picked up. It was like just shy of halfway through. Now I'm like probably 2/3 of the way through. Like I'm getting close to the last chapter. I think there's one, like I'm at the second to last case.
Okay.
Because I think there's like 5 cases in the game that you go through, and so I'm at the second to last one, and oh man, the game's just so good, and
that makes me so happy to hear, dude.
It's just the characters are fun, the stories are fun, the puzzles are like just the right amount of difficulty. I honestly don't like. I don't want to give away too much because we're gonna talk about in book club, but I don't know if I'm a huge fan of like the investigation portions, but the actual trials are so good. Like I love just getting in there and like, hold it,
Yeah.
objection, put like throwing your evidence out there, like no, like trying to
sitting there, dude. I remember there was some cases where I'm scratching my head like, how do I make this connection? What am I missing?
Yeah,
and you have to literally talk yourself through it. Like,
yeah.
Okay, what is it about this piece of evidence? Let me look at it. It does this and this. Like you really are working the trial. Like they're not paying me, but I'm doing this work.
Yeah, it's like it's at times it is extremely difficult, but it's also like just so fun because you are like, okay, yeah, trying to take these baby steps through the evidence. Like, okay, and this connects to this, and this connects to this. Okay, and because and usually the evidence that you're giving, you're trying to find contradictions in the cross-examination portion. Like, so the witness is giving a testimony and you're trying to figure out like, nope, that's not what happened there. And so it's like, yeah, listening to their stories and like remembering back, like, okay, like a couple hours ago I was talking to so-and-so and they said this, and I don't know, it's just so fun. Like it really is. Like there's been a couple times I've like literally taken notes. Like I was like, I gotta write this down. Like I'm in a note on my phone or whatever. Just like, so I remember it because I was like, that might be useful later. I gotta remember that. So it's getting to that point where I'm like getting serious. Like I'm pulling out a freaking notepad when I'm doing like.
Now your 3DS has a notepad built into it.
But can you access it while the game is open? Oh, I didn't know that.
I'll show you how to do it.
I thought it was like, you can only have one app open at a time. So if the game's open, you can't do your notepad.
This is system level.
Wow. Fancy features.
Yeah, I know things it's doing that the Switch can't do. That's odd. Really weird. Nintendo.
But yes, very good game. I can't wait to talk about it more on Book Club, and you guys all should play it too. So make sure you're playing it so that way you can watch that episode when it comes out later this month. Actually, what is 17th now? We'll probably be recording it next week. We have not set a date, but technically it should be coming out the 28th of next week. So I guess we should figure out what day we're recording. So
I've played it a bunch of times, so whenever you want.
Yeah. Sounds good. All right. Well, that is it for the show. Thank you all so much for listening. We appreciate each and every one of you who watches live on Twitch, watches later on YouTube, listens on podcast services, all of you who support us over at patreon.com/supergamerboys. You guys are fantastic. From the $1 level up to the $15 level, you're all super gamer stars in my eyes, I appreciate you all. And if you want to be awesome just like those folks, think about heading over there, get episodes early and ad-free, get the show notes, become a Patreon sponsor. We would love to see it. And we very much appreciate it, so we can keep making you cool things each and every week here on the channel. If you want to support us in another way and want something a little more physical, a little more tangible that you can show off to the world, think about going to sgbstore.com, where we have shirts and stickers and mugs and whatnot over there. I was thinking about the other day, we had started working on a merch line and we never officially launched it because we had some issues with it. And then we were talking about maybe switching to a different store. There is some great merch over there right now, so check it out. But at some point we need to figure out,
pick that back up.
Yeah, pick that back up and see what we can do, and see if we can either fix it with our current shop or if we need to make that jump that we are looking into. So we'll see. Stay tuned for
we'll keep you
possibly
posted.
some new merch there. W.GG. Remember to use our code SGB, get 10% off if you want some good clean energy, good clean fun. You can use that slogan, W. You can just pay me in free energy drinks. That's fine.
Good clean energy. You don't think that was one that they thought about?
Good. No. Good. It's the whole thing. Good clean energy. Period. Good clean fun.
I feel like I've heard that somewhere.
Probably. That's probably what it sounds like is probably BP, like the people who make the oil refineries that make gasoline.
About oil?
Yeah, because gas, and you go on road trips and stuff.
I was gonna say maybe like a theme park. I feel like that fits more.
Maybe. I mean, good clean fun.
When I think oil and gasoline, I'm not thinking good clean fun. Nothing fun about gasoline.
But it's good, clean energy. That's what they want to tell you, at least.
Yeah,
That's what they want you to think. Rate and review us where you can, over on Spotify, over on Apple Podcasts. Think about on YouTube, subscribing, giving us a thumbs up, leaving a comment on the episode. We appreciate you guys who actually answer the questions that we ask. When we ask about the boba, someone said they love Thai tea. They've never gotten it with boba pearls in it, but they like Thai tea. So I recommend that you try it the next time you go get your Thai tea, get it with boba because it's fantastic. Also, report Adrian, the other night I had matcha boba for the first time.
And?
Because you recommended it, and it's my new favorite.
Yes.
So that's the way. I mean, I was already on the matcha train because that's what I drink every morning. I don't drink coffee anymore. I drink matcha. And
now, this is the first time you've had it cold, though.
First time I had it cold. And first time I had it sweet. Because again, like matcha, like when I make matcha in the morning, it's just like matcha powder and water. And it's like, I love that earthy.
I got to put a little sweetener in it, dude.
Yeah,
I got it just a little bit.
Getting like, I'm not used to having any of my matcha. But then when I got it with the boba, obviously the pearls are sweet. And then like it was a milk tea. So they had the milk in there, and they had a little bit of sweetener and all this stuff. I'm like, all right, still has that earthy kind of flavor to it, but with the sweetness, I'm not.
Now I got a taste for it. Now I got a taste for boba, man. It's late already. Nobody's open. Thanks a lot.
I'm sorry. It's very good. So the question for this week is, what's your favorite dinosaur? Since Sir Prince-a-Lot was wondering, so go ahead and answer in the YouTube comments what your favorite dinosaur is. We'd appreciate that. Shout out to Jack Sriracha and Yate for allowing us to use their music on our show. Remember, give them a listen on Spotify and Apple Music. You can find us during the week at supergamerboys.com, Twitter and Instagram at supergamerboys. I am on Twitter and Instagram at gmorlang. Adrian, where can they find you at?
You can find me any and everywhere at Homeboy.
All right. Well, that's it. That's all I got for the show. So Adrian, mind taking us out?
All righty. Folks, thanks for hanging out with us again. Another week down. We thank you again for your support in any form, even if it's just listening here, your support on Patreon, or just telling a friend. It all helps, and we appreciate everything. So, for the foreseeable future, for me, Adrian Homeboy Holmes, and Mr. Garrett Big Boss Morlang, we are the Super Gamer Boys.
And we'll catch you on the flippity flop.
R.I.P. JJ. You will be missed.